Today we are going to learn how to make your truck or 5.3 swap or whatever idle with a cam swap. So this is a bone stock 2001 Silverado tune. This is what we're going to be working with today. So say you put a cam in it, like a Truck Norris or some other goofy name cam, and you want it to idle. But you don't know anything about tuning. Well, I'm here to teach you this. We're going to make it idle, at least just idle, so you can actually check over things for misfires and everything, so your actual tuner can actually start tuning on it. Or if you just want to learn how to make stuff idle, this is the video for you. We begin right here with the idle tab right here under engine, idle, and you go to base set point. I like to just bump these up by, probably 250. We'll start off with that. So in gear gives us a 775 at warm idle, RPM idle, and then park neutral gives you 800. So that should work pretty good. Next, going to go over to airflow, idle airflow. Now you'll notice mine is in G/S, which is grams per second. Yours, if you've opened it up for the first time or you don't know what the hell you're doing, is probably in pounds per hour. I don't utilize that. I use grams per second. It is easier for me to do. Right here, select the entire tab, just click right there. I'm probably going to bump this up, we'll do 6 to start off with. That's probably maybe a little overkill. Now, it depends on what throttle body you have. This is for a stock throttle body, a stock intake. Just, you seriously put a cam in it, and you probably have headers and just, bolt-ons, but you literally have a cam that's like a Chopper or a Truck Norris or stage 3, 2, 7, 12, whatever the hell you want to put in there. This is what it is. So I'm going to start off right here. A larger cam is going to require more grams per second for idle airflow. So this is probably just like a starter one right here. A really small cam, I'd probably just bump it up by 3 or 4. Again, you're gonna have to play with it, and you're gonna have to data log and see what the idle adapters are. So this is just a good starting point right here. So we exit that one out, and if you notice, everything that you change is in red, so you can see what the hell you changed instead of you think you forgot. Also, do not just save this file. Go up here to edit, or I'm sorry, file, click save as, and then name it something else, because you don't want to overwrite your stock file. All right, to continue, we're going to go down here to friction airflow initial. Bump this up by 1 gram per second. So again, if it's still in pounds per hour, go to grams per second, add it, boom. Now, this you will probably get rid of once you get it dialed in, okay? So this next one, do the same thing right here under startup airflow initial, just 1, just to give it that little extra bump of airflow. It might rev up really high. Once you start it, that's going to be these 2 tables right here. But again, we are just trying to start the engine to check for stuff. That's it. We're just trying to make the damn thing idle. But again, once you get everything dialed in, you can probably go back and just put these back to stock, and it would more than likely be fine. Continuing on, I'm going to address the throttle follower stuff and throttle cracker here in a little bit, but we're still working on the initial startup stuff, so hang tight for that. Go to Spark, and we're going to go to the in-drive, or the idle, Spark Advance, in-drive and in-park. So we're going to click on that. Both of these right here, I'll just do 25. And then I'm going to explain myself here in a minute. And so we'll do 20. Yeah, we'll do 20 right here. That should get us started. So this is just a timing table for when it is not moving. The mile per hour is just, there's nothing, you're just sitting in your park. Even in the drive case, like if you put it in drive, it's going to be this. So at idle, we're going to be at about 20 to probably 40 cylinder air mass. Kind of depends on the size of the cam. And we're going to be around the 800 to 1200 RPM. So it's going to fluctuate, between 28 and 20 right here. So it's going to be idle and bouncing. Now, when you rev this damn thing, it's going to rev up, and then just have your imaginary line like this. So the more throttle you get, the more cylinder air mass you're going to get, and the more RPM you're going to get. So this is your little imaginary line right here. This is just like, man, if you look, okay, if you're hitting 112 cylinder air mass at 800 RPM, we have a major issue. Like it is not going to do that. But more than likely, it's going to follow about this line right here. So it's really, you just have to look and see. But once you let off the throttle, if you look going back, it's only going to hit like 18. And if it so happens to hit some of these cells over here coming back over, it's going to dip down way down on the timing, and it's more than likely going to try to die. So this is just kind of like a stall saver per se, and it's going to work. So we'll just set those two at 20, and you can just copy this whole table. So what I'm going to do is click this little square up here, Control A. That's the whole. That selects the whole table. Control C, copies it. I'm just going to paste it over here. Boom. Now you notice it changed some of this over here. Don't worry about it. If you really want to go back to it, you can. You can copy this over to 20, just knock it down, whatever you want to do. But it ain't gonna hurt. It ain't gonna hurt anything. We're gonna save that one right there. You got another one here too. This is idle adaptive control, spark control. So this is the computer adjusting spark is faster than the computer adjusting the IAC. The IAC is a really slow motor, and it's not going to adjust as fast as what the computer can adjust timing at. So it'll use idle adaptive, it'll use spark control for idle purposes. So you've probably seen all the videos of, you know, people having these choppy cams and stuff. Well, this is what the hell they're doing right here, is they're exaggerating this. So if you look at both these tables, it's RPM and then how much spark is added or taken away. So we got the overspeed and the underspeed. So if it is, say, 300 RPM overspeed, it's going to try to knock down 15 degrees of timing right here until it gets to 0. And so you can see how much it's actually taken away. Same thing with underspeed. If it is under, say, 300 RPM, it's going to add 8 degrees. Now you notice this little ramp right here. We're going to get rid of that. So I'm going to put 20 right here, not 209, 20. And then we're going to select to this table right here, click interpolate right there. So now we have a gradual adding of spark. And so if it's under 300 RPM, it's going to shoot up to, it's going to shoot 20 degrees of timing in it on top of your already timing table, if that makes any sense. And you don't have to do the underspeed one, but if you want kind of an even idle, you can. So right here, we're just going to type in -20, and then we're going to equalize that, and then we are going to go to the 150 table. Oh, that'll work for me. It doesn't have to be even, but it'll get you pretty close right there. This is just not like, it's not really an important thing, but like a stalling perspective, it is pretty important to get these kind of right. Now, you can actually have this over chop, and it'll like way overcompensate, and it's going to really bounce around that idle a lot and the timing, and it's not going to like it. So there's kind of a fine line to do this stuff. So we're going to exit both these tables right here. You shouldn't have to mess with the startup cranking or anything like that. And you honestly shouldn't have to mess with this just to get the damn thing to start. Another thing I like doing off top, just right off the bat, is going to the VE table right here and then just knocking down, 15% fuel right there. So you notice we got this big dip right here. Well, we don't want that. That's trash. So what we're going to do to fix that is we're going to highlight this, and it's fine because we're going to adjust this table later anyway. It is not a big deal. You click smooth right here, click smooth right there. Man, look at that. We got a nice gradual hills here instead of, what we had before, which is trash. We don't want that. So we want nice, smooth lines right there. And again, we're going to adjust this later. So that just knocks the fuel down right there because they're pretty rich starting up anyway. So we're just knocking down 15%. It's going to compensate. It's going to be fine. Again, we're going to adjust that stuff later. Now, another thing I like doing too is sometimes these trucks will have short-term fuel trims turned on in open loop. And this one does. Disable this. Okay, why disable it? Well, If you have a dead O2 sensor and you don't know it, this thing is going to compensate for that on that bank. So say it's dead and it's reading lean, it's going to try to add like 30 to 50% fuel on that one bank, and it's going to run like ass. So just disable it, okay? Open loop is the best for just open loop. We don't need O2 feedback right now. They're not even warmed up to remotely even try to do any kind of adjustments whatsoever. You're going to leave the oxygen sensors on, when they reach a certain temperature here. And we're going to leave everything else alone. From here, go ahead and flash it. And you go up here, you can flash the thing right here, click right, and it takes about 30 seconds on one of these PCMs. It should fire right up. That is if you haven't changed any of your fueling, no, you still have stock injectors in it, which I don't recommend because these things are really tiny from the factory. But again, this thing should run decent, without issues. If you have good plug wires, good injectors, good fuel pressure, and all that stuff, it should run. It should start right up. And then you can go into the tuning process and start tuning it. Now, say you want to rev it a couple times, and this thing is wanting to die. It drops RPM way too quickly, and it doesn't catch the idle. This is where Throttle Follower and Throttle Cracker are going to come into play. So we're going to go over here to airflow under the Throttle Follower tab here. Select this whole table right here at 30%, 1.3, boom, right off the bat. This is going to make the throttle hang a little bit. Now, this is going to, it's going to require some adjusting. Like, it's going to be a feel thing. You're literally going to have to sit in your driveway and then rev it and see how far it comes down, see if it overcompensates, et cetera, et cetera. And you can gradually dial it in. So say, it's hanging a little bit. Okay, well, let's just knock it down 5% right here. Just keep going down until it feels pretty damn good and it's actually catching itself. Another thing, too, is the decay rate. This is just how fast it actually decays back down. The higher the number, the faster it's going to decay. The lower the number, the slower it's going to decay. So in this case, I would probably just highlight this right here and just knock it down 10% and just work from there. Like, just go from there. I mean, sometimes I've seen these things down, 30%, and then it just kind of depends. Stock throttle bodies, I don't usually have a lot of issues with, but it's more the Chinese throttle bodies, those G-Force ones. Any company that buys them black throttle bodies that puts their name on it and thinks they're special, look, they all come from the same Chinese factory. There are not multiple manufacturers for them damn things. Holley might be a little different. I know the Sniper ones are actually pretty nice. But I know the rest of those just junk ones that are $70, it is what it is. Throttle Cracker. So this is a table where it kind of opens the IAC up driving on the road. So if you can see here, it's RPM versus vehicle speed here. If we're driving down the road and say we're cruising at, I don't know, 40 miles an hour here, it's probably going to add 3 grams a second. I like to just knock this damn thing in half because it's quite a bit sometimes. Now, this is for a drive-by cable setup. A drive-by wire setup is going to be a lot more sensitive to this, in my experience. Sometimes, on my personal car, I have it zeroed out. That's just the way I roll with it, and it runs just fine. It doesn't have any dropping issues or anything like that. It doesn't try to drive itself. It doesn't try to die or anything like that. That's really all I've got for just trying to make that damn thing idle. You got stall saver stuff here. This is another driving on the road type deal. This one right here is for park and neutral. Again, you can make the stall saver stuff active. If you just read right here at the bottom, desired RPM in gear below this RPM, the stall saver strategy will be implemented. So on a cammed vehicle, I usually bump these up most of the time I make them like one number, but I'd probably just do this right here and just equal it, and it'd probably be okay. So if it ever hits 500 RPM, it's going to drastically throw a bunch of IAC at it, like a bunch of steps, and then probably some spark too. So because again, the underspeed is probably going to catch the damn thing too. But just in case, we have the stall saver stuff too. So rolling and moving idle, you shouldn't have to touch any of that stuff. That doesn't matter. It's not going to affect anything. That's pretty much it. Just for idle stuff. A lot of this stuff that's going to be for a whole nother video. Like this stuff, most of the time if you have like a larger throttle body or a larger intake manifold or something, you're going to have to mess with this stuff because it'll like stick essentially, or IEC goes crazy with this kind of stuff. So this is for just other stuff. This is for aftermarket throttle body stuff. I usually don't have to touch this stuff. Now on LT1s, I do have to touch it because LT1s obviously didn't come with 0411 PCMs. But again, I already have my own settings for those. Let's see what else we got here. That is pretty much it. Don't follow the guys who tell you to go to dynamic airflow right here and change it to 100. Okay, well, if you don't know what the hell this does, don't do it. This right here, what I just did was make it run into mass airflow sensor only. And instead of running blended, which is both these tables, it just runs this table right here. And just don't do that. That's so stupid. Run it in blended. Now, if you're tuning the thing, if you're dialing it in, yes, you need to turn off the MAF first and then dial in your VE table. And then after that, you turn it to MAF only, dial in your MAF table, and then go back after you're done with all that, and then turn it back to blended, and it should run really damn well. But again, enough ranting. I hope this helps somebody here. I'm sorry. Another thing, too, I forgot. Let's see here. It is not in this one, is it? No, yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. Manifold absolute pressure. This is not going to like affect it not running, but if you have a pretty large cam, it's going to mess with some of this stuff. So I usually just max this damn thing out right here. So just 105. And on throttle position sensor stuff, if you have an aftermarket throttle body, 410 it. Just max it out because it's going to throw all kinds of crazy stuff everywhere. Again, this is just for throttle position stuff, but it should be okay. And you got your misfire codes and stuff. But this right here is not going to affect how it idles or anything like that. This will just flash the check engine light. But anyway, that's it for this video. Again, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, do all that YouTuber stuff. If I helped you out, let me know. If I didn't help you out, hell, let me know again. I'll catch you guys on the next one.